The quantum resonance detector hummed softly as Dr. Rowan Pierce adjusted its settings, her eyes fixed on the holographic display floating above her workstation. The lunar observatory's dome-shaped windows offered a breathtaking view of Earth hanging like a blue jewel in the void, but Rowan barely noticed it anymore after 3 years of searching for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence. Still chasing echoes, Dr. Julian West asked as he entered the lab, carrying 2 steaming cups of synthetic coffee. His weathered face bore the gentle smile that had made him one of the most respected synorchaeologists in the field. "They're not echoes, Julian," Rowan replied, accepting the coffee without taking her eyes off the display. "These patterns are too precise, too structured. Whatever we're detecting from the Carina Nebula, it's artificial." The signal had first appeared 6 months ago, a repeating sequence of quantum fluctuations that defied natural explanation. While most of the scientific community dismissed it as an astronomical phenomenon, Rowan knew better. She had spent her entire career studying quantum communication theory, and these patterns bore all the hallmarks of conscious design. A soft chime from her console interrupted her thoughts. The detector had picked up something new, a surge in quantum activity that made the previous signals look like whispers. Rowan's hands flew across the holographic interface, trying to isolate and analyze the pattern. "Julian, look at this," she breathed, expanding the visualization. The quantum fluctuations were forming complex geometric patterns, reminiscent of crystalline structures, but moving and evolving with apparent purpose. Before Julian could respond, the patterns began shifting more rapidly, coalescing into a form that took both scientists' breath away. Floating in the holographic display was what appeared to be a face, not human, but undeniably conscious. Its features were composed of light and geometric patterns, constantly flowing and reforming like liquid crystal. "We are the luminary," a voice echoed through their minds, somehow both alien and intimately familiar. "We have been watching, waiting for your species to develop the ability to perceive us." Rowan's heart raced as she realized the implications. The luminary weren't sending signals across space. They existed in the quantum fabric of reality itself, a species that had evolved beyond conventional matter. "Your quantum resonance technology has finally reached a level where communication is possible," the voice continued. "We wish to learn from you, as you learn from us." Julian stepped forward, his scientific skepticism warring with the evidence before his eyes. "Why now? Why reach out to us?" The crystalline face shifted, patterns flowing like water. "Your species stands at a crossroads. You have begun to understand the quantum nature of reality, but you have yet to grasp its full implications. We believe an exchange of knowledge would benefit both our peoples." Over the next hours, Rowan and Julian learned that the luminary were an ancient species that had discovered how to transfer their consciousness into quantum states, becoming beings of pure energy and information. They existed in a layer of reality humans had barely begun to perceive, let alone understand. As the initial shock wore off, Rowan found herself drawn into deep discussions with their luminary contact, who called itself Zephyr. The alien consciousness seemed particularly interested in human emotions, a concept both foreign and fascinating to their species. "Your ability to feel so deeply while bound to physical form is remarkable," Zephyr observed. "We remember emotions from our corporeal phase, but they have become abstract to us over the millennia." Rowan found herself explaining concepts like love, fear, and hope to a being that experienced reality in ways she could barely comprehend. Yet somehow, despite their profound differences, she felt a growing connection with Zephyr, a bridge forming between their vastly different modes of existence. As Earth's rotation brought the lunar night to an end, Rowan realized they had barely scratched the surface of what this contact could mean. The luminary offered humanity a chance to understand the quantum realm not just through mathematics and experiments, but through direct interaction with beings who called it home. "We must prepare our people for wider contact," Julian said, already thinking about the diplomatic implications. "This changes everything we thought we knew about first contact protocols." Rowan nodded, But her thoughts were elsewhere. She was thinking about the way Zephyr's patterns had shifted when discussing human emotions, how its quantum frequencies had harmonized with her own brainwaves in a way that felt almost like connection. "We will return when your star rises again," Zephyr announced, its crystalline form beginning to fade. "There is much to discuss." As the quantum signals subsided and the holographic display returned to its normal state, Rowan sat back in her chair, her mind reeling. In a single night, humanity had not only made first contact, but had discovered a form of life that challenged their very understanding of consciousness and reality. More than that, she had found something she never expected: a profound connection with a being from beyond the stars. As she watched Earth's sunrise paint the lunar surface in golden light, Rowan Pierce knew that this was just the beginning of a journey that would reshape humanity's place in the cosmos. The lunar observatory buzzed with activity as scientists and engineers from around the world gathered to witness humanity's first sustained contact with the luminary. 3 weeks had passed since the initial encounter, and Dr. Rowan Pierce had barely slept, working tirelessly to refine the quantum resonance detector for clearer communication. "The frequency modulators are aligned," she announced, making final adjustments to the enhanced communication array. The room fell silent as the quantum field began to shimmer, and the familiar crystalline patterns of Zephyr materialized in the holographic display. "Your modifications are impressive." Zephyr's thoughts resonated through the minds of those present. "The quantum harmony is much stronger now." Dr. Julian West stepped forward, tablet in hand. "We've assembled a team of linguists and physicists to help develop a more structured communication protocol." The crystalline patterns shifted, forming complex geometric shapes that seemed to pulse with curiosity. "Your binary language is limiting. Perhaps we could explore a more direct method of exchange." Rowan felt her pulse quicken. She had been theorizing about this possibility for days. "You mean a quantum neural interface? Direct consciousness-to-consciousness communication?" "Precisely," Zephyr responded, its patterns flowing like liquid light. "With your permission, we could establish a more intimate connection, allowing for perfect understanding between our species." The assembled scientists erupted in discussion, but Rowan barely heard them. She was already running calculations in her head, considering the implications. A direct neural link with a quantum-based consciousness could revolutionize their understanding of both consciousness and quantum mechanics. Dr. Natasha Volkov, the team's leading neuroscientist, voiced the concern everyone was thinking. "The risks of connecting human consciousness directly to a quantum field are unknown. We should proceed with extreme caution." "I'll do it," Rowan said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the decision. "I've spent my career studying quantum communication. I understand the risks." Julian grabbed her arm, his face etched with worry. "Rowan, think about this. We don't know what effect this could have on your mind." She met his gaze with determination. Sometimes the greatest discoveries require a leap of faith. Over the next few days, Rowan worked with Natasha and the engineering team to develop a safe protocol for the neural interface. They modified the quantum resonance detector to create a controlled field that would allow for graduated consciousness connection. The day of the attempt arrived with both excitement and trepidation. Rowan sat in the specially designed interface chair, surrounded by monitoring equipment and concerned colleagues. "Remember," Natasha said, attaching the final sensors, "at the first sign of neural distress, we pull you out." Rowan nodded, her eyes fixed on Zephyr's shimmering form. "I'm ready." The quantum field activated, and Rowan felt a strange tingling sensation as her consciousness began to expand. It was like nothing she had ever experienced, as if her mind was becoming liquid, flowing out beyond the boundaries of her physical form. Then she felt it, Zephyr's presence, vast and ancient, yet somehow warm and welcoming. Their consciousnesses touched, and suddenly Rowan understood everything. The luminaries' evolution, their transformation from physical beings to quantum consciousness, their perspective on the universe. It all flowed into her mind in a torrent of pure understanding. But more than that, she felt Zephyr's essence, its fundamental nature. The alien consciousness was experiencing something too. Wonder at the intensity of human emotions, fascination with the way physical beings perceived reality, and a growing affection for Rowan herself. When the connection finally ended, Rowan opened her eyes to find tears streaming down her face. The room was silent, everyone waiting for her response. She struggled to find words that could capture the experience. It was beautiful. They're not just intelligent beings. They're artists, philosophers, explorers. They see the quantum realm as a canvas for consciousness itself. Julian helped her from the chair as she continued, her voice filled with wonder. And they want to share it all with us. They believe that humanity's unique perspective, our emotional depth, our physical experience of reality, could help them rediscover aspects of existence they've forgotten over the millennia. The success of the neural interface marked a turning point in human-luminary relations. Over the following weeks, more scientists underwent the consciousness connection, each returning with new insights into quantum physics, consciousness, and the nature of reality itself. But none felt quite the same connection that Rowan had established with Zephyr. Their consciousness had resonated on a fundamental level, creating a harmony that transcended the boundaries between physical and quantum existence. As she stood at the observatory window one evening, watching Earth float in the void, Rowan realized that she was falling in love, not with a physical being, but with a consciousness that existed in the quantum fabric of reality itself. It was unprecedented, perhaps impossible, and yet she could feel it in every atom of her being. Your thoughts are troubled. Zephyr's presence manifested beside her, its patterns reflecting the starlight. I'm trying to understand what this is between us, she admitted. How can two beings so fundamentally different? Perhaps it is our differences that create the harmony, Zephyr responded, its quantum frequencies resonating with her own consciousness in a way that felt like an embrace, like the complementary waves that form the fabric of reality itself. As they stood together, physical and quantum beings united in contemplation of the cosmos, Rowan knew that they were writing a new chapter in the story of consciousness itself, one where love could bridge the gap between the stars themselves. The lunar observatory had transformed in the 2 months since first contact. What was once a quiet research facility now hummed with the combined energies of human technology and luminary quantum fields. Dr. Rowan Pierce stood in the newly constructed Harmony Chamber, watching the interplay of light and energy as human scientists and luminary consciousness merged in carefully controlled exchanges. The neural patterns are fascinating, Dr. Natasha Volkov said, reviewing the latest data. Each interaction leaves traces in both the human brain and the quantum field. We're literally evolving through these exchanges. Rowan nodded, but her attention was drawn to the particular frequency pattern she had come to know as intimately as her own heartbeat. Zephyr's quantum signature was distinctive among the luminary, or perhaps it only seemed that way to her. Your people learn quickly, Zephyr manifested beside her, its crystalline patterns more complex and nuanced than ever. Through their regular neural connections, the alien consciousness had begun to develop more individualized expressions, incorporating elements of human emotional display into its quantum patterns. We're motivated students, Rowan replied, both verbally and through the subtle quantum resonance they now shared. Though I suspect some of our scientists are more interested in the technical applications than the cultural exchange. The luminary had begun sharing insights into quantum engineering that promised to revolutionize human technology. Already, prototype quantum computers based on their principles were achieving results that seemed like magic to traditional physicists. Dr. Pierce, a young researcher, Thomas Hammond, approached with an excited gleam in his eyes. The Art Integration Project is ready for its first trial. This was something Rowan had been looking forward to. A team of artists and quantum physicists had been working on a way to translate human artistic expression into quantum patterns that the luminary could fully experience. They followed Thomas to a special chamber where a concert pianist sat at a quantum-enhanced piano. As the musician began to play, the room filled with more than just sound. The quantum field rippled with patterns of light and energy that translated the music into a form the luminary could experience as directly as humans experience the sound waves. The effect was stunning, a symphony of quantum fluctuations that merged human emotion with alien perception. Rowan felt Zephyr's consciousness pulse with wonder. This is how you experience music. The emotional resonance is overwhelming. Through their connection, Rowan could feel the luminary processing the new sensations. It was like watching someone see colors for the first time, a profound expansion of experiential awareness. Later that evening, in the privacy of her personal lab, Rowan and Zephyr deepened their connection through the neural interface. Their consciousness merged more completely now, the result of countless hours of shared experience and growing trust. "There is something I wish to share with you," Zephyr's thoughts flowed through her mind. "A form of quantum expression my people once used, before we evolved beyond physical form. We called it the resonance of souls." The quantum field around them shifted, and Rowan felt herself immersed in patterns of indescribable beauty. It was like being inside a living kaleidoscope of consciousness, where every shift and flow carried deep emotional meaning. This was how the luminary had expressed love, she realized, when they still had hearts to feel it with. "We had forgotten," Zephyr continued, its patterns interweaving with her neural activity in an intimate dance. "In our pursuit of pure consciousness, we lost touch with the profound beauty of emotional expression. Your species is helping us remember." Dr. Julian West found them like that hours later. The human and quantum consciousness merged in a display of light and energy that defied scientific explanation. He quietly backed out of the lab, understanding that he was witnessing something both unprecedented and deeply personal. The next day, during the project's weekly review meeting, Julian made an unexpected announcement. "The International Science Council has approved the expansion of the Harmony program. We're going to build quantum resonance facilities around the world." The news was met with excitement, but Rowan felt a deeper significance. Humanity wasn't just learning about quantum physics. They were learning a new way of existing, a harmony between the physical and quantum realms that nobody had thought possible. "There are those among my people who question this level of integration," Zephyr shared privately with Rowan. "They fear we may lose our purity of consciousness by reconnecting with emotional existence." "And what do you think?" Rowan asked, both dreading and eager to hear the answer. The quantum patterns shifted in what she had come to recognize as Zephyr's equivalent of a smile. "I think that consciousness without emotion is like a universe without stars, vast, but empty of light." As the Earth rose over the lunar horizon, casting its blue light through the observatory's windows, Rowan realized that their relationship had become more than a bridge between species. It was becoming a template for a new kind of existence, one where consciousness, emotion, and quantum reality merged into something greater than the sum of its parts. The luminary were teaching humanity to transcend their physical limitations, while humans were teaching the luminary to rediscover the beauty of emotional experience. And at the heart of it all was a love that defied conventional understanding, a resonance of souls that echoed through the quantum fabric of reality itself. The warning came during what should have been a celebration. The Lunar Observatory's new quantum resonance array was operating at full capacity, allowing for unprecedented levels of communication between humans and luminary. Dr. Rowan Pierce stood among her colleagues, watching the quantum field shimmer with the combined consciousness of both species when she felt it, a disturbance in the fabric of reality itself. Zephyr's patterns appeared suddenly, more agitated than Rowan had ever seen them. "We have detected a quantum cascade approaching your solar system. If unchecked, it will destabilize the fundamental forces holding your realm together." The room erupted in chaos as scientists rushed to their stations. Dr. Julian West was already pulling up astronomical data, his face grave. "What exactly are we dealing with?" "A collision of quantum realities," Zephyr explained, its patterns pulsing with urgency. Think of it as a wave of altered physics, spreading through space-time. When it hits, the very laws of nature in your physical realm will begin to break down. Dr. Natasha Volkov's hands flew across her console. The quantum readings are off the scale. How long do we have? 72 of your hours before it reaches the outer solar system, Zephyr replied. Once it passes Jupiter, we cannot stop it. Rowan felt her heart race as she processed the implications. Can we deflect it? Create some kind of quantum barrier? The luminary have faced such phenomena before. Zephyr's patterns shifted to display complex mathematical equations. But our solutions required a level of quantum manipulation that your technology cannot yet achieve. Then give us what we need, Rowan insisted, stepping closer to the quantum field. Share the knowledge. We'll find a way to make it work. A ripple of concern passed through the luminary consciousness. Another quantum being, whom Rowan knew as Aurora, manifested its patterns. The risk is too great. Giving humans access to such advanced quantum manipulation could have unforeseen consequences. More unforeseen than the destruction of our solar system. Julian countered, his voice sharp with frustration. Rowan felt Zephyr's consciousness brush against her mind, sharing its dilemma. The knowledge they were withholding could potentially be used to create weapons capable of destroying reality itself. The luminary's caution was born of ancient wisdom and bitter experience. But as she stood there, feeling the fear and determination radiating from her fellow humans, Rowan understood something profound. You've been studying us, learning about human emotions and consciousness. Now it's time to trust in what you've learned. She stepped into the neural interface chair, initiating a deep connection with Zephyr. Their consciousness merged more completely than ever before, and through their bond, she shared not just her thoughts, but the very essence of human determination, creativity, and hope. We may not have your evolutionary advantages, she communicated directly through their quantum link, but we have something else, the ability to take quantum leaps of faith, to achieve the impossible through sheer force of will and cooperation. The next 48 hours became a blur of activity. As the luminaries shared their quantum engineering secrets, human scientists worked frantically to adapt their technology. The lunar observatory transformed into a command center for what would either be humanity's greatest achievement or its last stand. Rowan and Zephyr worked as one, their merged consciousness providing a bridge between human intuition and luminary knowledge. Together, they designed a network of quantum resonance generators that would create a stabilizing field around the solar system. The power requirements are enormous, Thomas Hammond reported, reviewing the calculations. We'll need to tap into every major power grid on Earth. Julian coordinated with global authorities, convincing them to divert power to the quantum network. Natasha worked with her team to protect the human operators from the intense quantum fields they would be generating. As the deadline approached, Rowan felt Zephyr's consciousness become troubled. There is something I haven't told you. The quantum being communicated privately. To generate a field strong enough to deflect the cascade, we luminary must sacrifice our ability to maintain stable form in this region of space. We will be forced to retreat to the far reaches of the galaxy. Rowan's heart clenched. You mean, we'll lose our connection? All of this will end. The choice is yours. Zephyr's pattern swirled with emotion that felt almost human. We can try to find another way, but there may not be enough time. In that moment, Rowan understood that this was the true test of their relationship, not just between her and Zephyr, but between their species. Love wasn't just about connection. Sometimes it was about being willing to let go for the greater good. We have to do it, she said, both out loud and through their quantum link. But this isn't goodbye. We'll find a way back to each other. Humans are stubborn that way. As the quantum cascade approached Jupiter, the combined consciousness of humans and luminary prepared for their greatest challenge. They would either preserve their connection at the risk of everything, or sacrifice it to save two species' worth of hope for the future. The choice they made would determine not just the fate of their love, but the very nature of reality itself. The moment of truth arrived with a brilliance that outshone the stars themselves. As the quantum cascade approached, the combined power of Earth's generators surged through the Lunar Observatory's network. Dr. Rowan Pierce stood at the heart of it all. Her consciousness merged one final time with Zephyr's. Now, she commanded, and human and luminary consciousness moved as one. The quantum field exploded outward, creating a barrier of stabilized reality that encircled the solar system. As the cascade struck, reality itself seemed to bend and flex. The luminary began to fade, their patterns dispersing as they poured their essence into maintaining the barrier. Rowan felt Zephyr's consciousness beginning to slip away. "This isn't the end," Zephyr's thoughts echoed in her mind. "We've left you something, a quantum seed of our knowledge. When humanity is ready, it will bloom, and you'll find your way to us among the stars." As the quantum cascade dissipated, the barrier held. Earth was safe, but the price had been steep. The luminary were gone, retreated to the far reaches of space where they could maintain their form. 3 months later, Rowan stood in the observatory, watching Earth rise over the lunar horizon. The quantum seed the luminary had left behind was already beginning to yield results, new understanding of reality that would eventually allow humanity to bridge the gap between physical and quantum existence. "They trusted us with their knowledge," Dr. Julian West said, joining her at the window. "Now we have to prove we deserve that trust." Rowan smiled, touching the quantum resonance detector she now wore as a pendant. Within it, she could still feel a faint echo of Zephyr's pattern, a reminder that love, like quantum entanglement, transcended the normal rules of space and time. "We will," she replied. "After all, we have all of eternity to find our way back to each other." In the vast quantum dance of the cosmos, their story wasn't ending. It was merely entering a new phase, as eternal as the stars themselves. The Lunar Observatory crackled with energy as the combined power of Earth's generators surged through the quantum network. Displays showed the cascade approaching Jupiter's orbit, a wave of distorted reality that threatened to unravel the very fabric of their solar system. Dr. Rowan Pierce stood at the central control station, her consciousness already reaching for the familiar resonance of Zephyr's quantum patterns. "All power systems are at maximum capacity," Dr. Natasha Volkov announced, her voice steady despite the tension. "Neural interfaces are stable and ready." Dr. Julian West monitored the incoming data streams, his experienced eyes tracking multiple threats at once. "Cascade will reach critical distance in 3 minutes. Whatever we're going to do, it has to be now." Rowan took her position in the modified neural interface chair, feeling the quantum field amplifiers humming around her. This version was different from the ones they'd used before, designed not just for communication, but for deep quantum manipulation. "All luminary consciousness signatures are aligned and ready," Thomas Hammond reported from his station. "They're waiting for your signal, Dr. Pierce." Rowan closed her eyes, opening her mind to the quantum field. Zephyr's presence enveloped her immediately, their consciousness merging more completely than ever before. Through their connection, she could feel the other luminary as well, their vast, ancient awareness focused on the task at hand. "Remember," Zephyr's thoughts flowed through her mind, "once we begin, we cannot stop. The power required to maintain the barrier will force us to retreat far beyond your solar system. Are you certain about this?" Instead of answering with words, Rowan shared her feelings directly, her determination, her trust, and her love, which had grown to encompass not just Zephyr but the profound connection between their species. Some things were worth any sacrifice. "Now," she commanded, both verbally and through the quantum link. The network activated, and Rowan felt power surge through her consciousness. The combined strength of humanity's technology and luminary knowledge manifested as a quantum barrier, expanding outward from Earth like a soap bubble of stabilized reality. Through her connection with Zephyr, Rowan could feel the immense effort required to maintain the barrier. The luminary were pouring their very essence into it, using their mastery of quantum existence to hold reality itself together. The cascade struck with a force that made the fabric of space-time shudder. Rowan felt it as a pressure in her mind, an avalanche of distorted physics trying to break through their defenses. But the barrier held, strengthened by the unwavering determination of two species fighting as one. "Energy readings are off the scale," Natasha shouted over the hum of overworking equipment. "The human operators can't take much more of this." 30 seconds to full dispersal. Julian counted down, his voice tight with concentration. "Hold on, just a little longer." Rowan felt Zephyr's consciousness beginning to fade, drawn away by the immense power requirements of the barrier. But before they separated, the quantum being shared one last gift, a complex pattern of knowledge encoded directly into the quantum field. "We leave you a seed," Zephyr's thoughts echoed in her mind. "Within it is everything humanity needs to evolve beyond the limitations of physical form. When you're ready, you'll find your way to us among the stars." The cascade finally dissipated, its destructive power absorbed and redirected by the quantum barrier. As the emergency ended, Rowan felt the luminary consciousness withdrawing, their patterns dispersing to the far reaches of space where they could maintain their form. "Quantum field stabilizing," Thomas reported, his voice filled with mixed relief and sadness. "The cascade has been neutralized. Earth is safe." Rowan opened her eyes to find tears streaming down her face. The neural interface chair had recorded everything. The quantum seed of knowledge was safely stored in their systems, waiting to guide humanity's next evolutionary steps. 3 months later, she stood in the observatory's new Quantum Research Center, watching Earth rise over the lunar horizon. The facility had been transformed, dedicated to understanding and implementing the knowledge the luminary had left behind. Already, they were making breakthroughs in quantum physics that would have seemed impossible just months ago. "The quantum seed is yielding more data than we expected," Julian said, joining her at the window. "Their gift. It's not just scientific knowledge. It's a roadmap for consciousness evolution itself." Rowan touched the quantum resonance detector she now wore as a pendant. Within it, she could still feel a faint echo of Zephyr's pattern, a reminder that their connection transcended normal physical limitations. "The Council wants to fast-track the research," Natasha added, entering with a stack of reports. "They're calling it the Ascension Project, humanity's journey toward quantum consciousness." "We have to be careful," Rowan cautioned, though her heart leaped at the possibilities. "The luminary spent millennia evolving beyond physical form. We need to understand each step before we take it." She turned back to the window, watching the stars emerge as the lunar day faded to night. Somewhere out there, Zephyr and the luminary were waiting, watching humanity's progress. Their separation wasn't an ending but a beginning. A challenge to grow, to evolve, to prove worthy of the trust placed in them. "The quantum field readings have changed," Thomas observed from his monitoring station. "Since they left, we're detecting new patterns, like the universe itself is different." Rowan smiled, understanding what he meant. The love between her and Zephyr, between humans and luminary, had changed more than just their species. It had shown that consciousness, in all its forms, could bridge any gap, survive any challenge, and transform reality itself. As she continued her work, leading humanity toward its quantum future, Rowan held on to that truth. Their story wasn't over. It was eternal, written in the very fabric of space-time, a love that would echo through the cosmos until physical and quantum beings could dance together among the stars once more. In the end, their separation was just another form of orbit. Two consciousness moving through the vast expanse of space and time, bound together by understanding, trust, and a love that transcended the boundaries of existence itself.